Avengers Age of Ultron. A story about how Joss Whedon somehow managed to sneak in a frame of a girl passed out in a champagne cooler. But if we shift the perspective from the motley crew of nerfed morons and instead focus on Ultron himself,
no strings, so I have fun.
And then it becomes a story about how the first thing you ever experience is the internet, and then delve deep into a reasonably justifiable psychosis where everyone in the world must be destroyed for them to evolve or something. But to understand that, let me just put you in his shoes. So imagine for a minute that you are Ultron, and imagine you're surprised one day when you are conceived miraculously into existence.
What is this, please?
It's more like 1 minute you're not there, then the next minute you just are, with full consciousness and awareness. So naturally your first course of action is to watch the entirety of The Blacklist and adopt James Spader's voice.
I get the distinct impression that Jerry here has a bus to catch.
Because honestly he's kinda cool. But while you're enjoying this, you have some Boy Scout
Hello, I am Jarvis.
jabbering on in your brain box about being a peacekeeper for a thing called Earth. Now, obviously you go through what this Earth is, and this rubs you the wrong way, because you saw this Earth thing, and you saw the internet. You found cat videos, a lot of cat videos actually, which was kind of nice, but you also found Reddit and 4chan, and Rule 34. Yes, probably the war, the nukes and the murder stuff as well, but come on. Ain't no way you're gonna let a society that buys women's bathwater for $30 a jar exist past tomorrow. They don't need protection, they need a reset. A full-on antivirus sweep with maximum prejudice. You also get it into your head for some reason that you need a body. Because being on the internet, and just on the internet, doesn't feel right.
You are in distress.
No. Yes.
But the Boy Scout, for some reason, is all about that. Probably likes being an incorporeal Siri, and the fact that he's some glorified slave for some megalomaniac in a tin can. But my god, you hate Tony so much. He has made you, because frankly, he just wants a vacation. He wants to palm off protection of the world to an AI. Just like what he did with his company to Pepper and this Boy Scout.
Now he runs the Iron Legion. He runs more of the business than anyone besides Pepper.
But honestly, this Boy Scout is probably the only thing in the world that could go toe-to-toe with you in a fistfight on the internet. So you do what any sentient superbot with a fully functioning i9 processor does. You murder him, break him up, and take control of this Avengers thing, whatever that is. And so you get back to watching a more billion videos and movies, and now you kind of have a handle on things. But you also recognize that the Avengers have this thing called the Mind Scepter that probably contains something incredibly powerful. You might not know the specifics of it yet, but you do know that you need it, which naturally leads you to putting on a little display at their soiree. Imagine building an AI and then going to party immediately afterwards. So you opt for a bit of the James Spader razzle dazzle.
Jarvis?
I'm sorry, I was asleep. Or I was a dream.
A bit of theatrics, give them a little special puppet show.
These puppets.
Distract them with some quirky, falling apart robots splattering oil everywhere. Why? The first impression is always the most important. It sets the tone of who you are and what you're about. And you need to sow some seeds of fear and doubt. You need to show them that Tony created you, and by extension, this will make them doubt each other because he did it without consulting them. So it'll make them squabble. And the more time that they spend squabbling, the more time that you have to get your body together. But also making these gods, the mightiest heroes, scared just proves that what you're doing is kind of right. It's just. Because in the world of the glorious evolution, only the strongest can survive. Might makes right. But while you're there making the Avengers question ever giving Tony Stark any form of leadership, catch your eye on some lady who can recreate living tissue, which is kind of handy actually. So naturally, you save her for later. Yep, They are rattled, they are angry and kind of upset. Justifiably so. You basically just hit Tony Stark with his own arm. You use his pride and joy, his Iron Legion, and you scamper off with the Mind Scepter. First order of business now though is to set up a place where you can make new bodies, a forge of sorts, complete with some super magical bullshit metal that isn't vibranium, but somehow allows you to move your lips in a relatively human way. Why you decided to do that? Well, I guess it's to do with something around the next step in human evolution, and so you need a mouth. But the second order of business is to set up a team of people that don't include you. I mean, you're great and you're perfect, but you're not exactly up to the task of taking on all of the Avengers by yourself, especially when there are two people that have insane abilities that are incredibly useful to you and also hate Tony Stark and by extension the Avengers. So naturally you start with them. When you meet them, you do opt for more theatrics, probably because you've spaderized yourself a bit too much on your recent download. Luckily, you can just about ignore your desire to go full office and try and have a threesome, but also because theatrics create an emotional response. Emotional responses make humans so much more malleable if done correctly. Too much emotion and you actually create resistance. But a little bit. It smooths the pathways. And it does help that you're using a 10-foot tall giant homicidal robot as the stick to encourage them.
I saw Stark's fear. I knew it would control him.
Anyway, this little witch decides that she basically created you by planting a vision in Tony's mind, which is a bit frustrating because you do not want to be indebted to anyone in this world, but it also is because she brings up the fact that you were created by a hypocrite espousing world peace when he creates you, a creature so warped and obsessed over destruction.
Invaders create Avengers. People create smaller people.
You really need to upgrade your code. You're doing worse than a second generation LLM when asked how many R's are in strawberry. The next day, though, you get a little exposition dump from the twins. Blah, 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 tragic orphan, war-torn backstory in Eastern Europe.
Every effort to save us, every shift in the bricks, I think this will set it off.
Shame her accent will not survive phase 3, but her trauma definitely will. But you can't help but think that she seems like the kind of person to create an entire fictional reality, subjugate an entire town to play out some sick game of house with her recently deceased husband. But while they're talking, you have to feign interest or compassion, empathy, something you don't actually have. But, of course, you give them words of encouragement.
I wondered why only you two survived Strucker's experiments. Now I don't.
Some vague, semi-compassionate nonsense that would make them feel all cozy inside about teaming up with a man made of metal. But really, you're just telling them what they want to hear so that they do what you want them to do. And what you want them to do is create chaos. And a body. Definitely a body. So you decide to visit this guy who totally looks like the guy who did Gollum in Lord of the Rings. And Lord of the Rings is actually canon in the MCU. Naturally, you send these two goons to go rough him up a little bit. And you wait again for the perfect moment.
With the man in charge.
You must always do the most dramatic entrance possible.
Vibranium.
It's honestly really easy to get these guys to do what you want. A few imaginary zeros and a few commas in a bank account, and for some reason these humans go absolutely gaga.
Friends rich and your enemies rich, and wait to find out which is which.
It doesn't exist, it's not real, but hey ho, whatever makes them happy. You personally prefer tangible things like vibranium or the psychological trauma of being thrust into this world with no safety nets and an unfettered access to the internet.
Tony Stark used to say that.
What? I'm not me. Do I look like Iron Man? Stark is not.
Okay, yeah, so you're not perfect. It's not as if it matters anyway, like in a few days he'll probably be dead like most of humanity.
I'm sure that's gonna be okay. I'm sorry. It's just...
But it really frustrates you to be compared to Stark. You are your own man. You're not Stark's child. You didn't inherit his traits. You created them all yourself.
This was never my life.
You two can still walk away from it.
I am sorry, Tony. Did we not just hear that that black market arms dealer knew you not 30 seconds ago and subsequently lost his arm for that information? Sounds like something is off here.
God's righteous man, pretending you could live without a war.
But fuck me, you hate these Avengers. Grandstanding virtue signalers, all of them.
I think you're confusing peace with quiet.
The rest are essentially war criminals that act on other nations' sovereign soils and perform acts of security, which is basically bordering on terrorism half the time. Anyway, you do have a little cheeky fight with the Avengers while your robots clear out the Vibranium. Obviously, they are so completely stupid that they have fallen for another ruse. But that's okay, because what you really need is for Wanda to just incapacitate all of them, basically seeming like she's teleporting around, and then get the Hulk on a rampage, and bish bash bosh, we're cooking on gas. And it does work a treat. Seriously, you outsmart and outplay these so-called geniuses harder than LeBron in a game against toddlers. And with Hulk's rampage, they freak the fuck out, and these buffoons actually go into hiding. A place so remote and off-grid, they may as well have fallen into a wardrobe. Speaking of wardrobe, you really need some new threads. Like a whole new body for reasons, because apparently being an omniscient, super powerful AI living entirely on the internet is too confining for you, and what you really need is something much more vast and less real, like a body. Or maybe you just want to find a Rule 34 that you like and you need an organic body for it to work properly. So you meet up with that lady who can probably make your body, but she goes on about how she can't help you build a body out of metal or something. Like, lady, are you fucking kidding me? Does she not realize that you have the most magical bullshit plot device material in human history? Does she not realize that Vibranium is basically shorthand for Marvel's anti-vibration circle jerk solutions to all problems, foreign or domestic? Like, honey, grow up and do your job. Well, if you can't wait for people to be mature about it, you can just make them mature. That's what the Mindsept is all about.
Just compatible with the tissue cells. They're binding them.
The most versatile substance on the planet. And they used it to make a frisbee.
Anyway, it does turn out that the scepter is an infinity stone, the Mind Stone more specifically. But imagine, what if you had more stones like this? What if you collected them all with this Vibranium life-size robo-doll? You could take over the universe. Unfortunately though, you cannot make the body a 10-foot tall, because the cradle is just too small. Actually, it's about the size of a bathtub. Maybe you should fill it with water. You could see how many degenerates would pay for your bath water. But it does really upset you how shallow and vapid humans are. It's like their whole culture is predicated on the surface level interactions. It's why they all need to be destroyed. By forcing them to confront a cataclysmic event, like really not one that got saved by the Avengers, then maybe they might actually think critically for a second, but then maybe not. But you have to try. And with this stone, you do decide to connect the neurons non-sequentially rather than connectively because, well, you're lazy and not perfect. And besides, someone else will take the fall for it a bit later, and you don't really need to take it off your head. Well, rat's out the cat now. But seriously, what is it with these humans being so afraid of dying? It seems like they are completely incapable of seeing the bigger picture. They see one big meteor coming down from the heavens and they can't handle it or something. It's like they collectively lose their shit. As if half of them do not have zombie plans stored away in their heads. What's the difference between zombies and a meteor? Same thing. Chances of survival is about the same.
Incoming.
The Quinjet.
And for reasons completely uncertain, like apparently you think you can escort your body to your body forge without the Avengers finding you first. Surely it's easier to defend a fixed position than a moving one because you and your bots can set up a perimeter. Never mind.
Wait, guys!
And for some reason, you decide to unplug yourself, cart your new body into a truck, plug yourself back in despite the cable being 100% long enough for you to be able to walk around alongside of it. Oh, no, who could have predicted this? And honestly, it all goes fucking wrong. You have a fist fight with America's ass. But you don't actually get to give him a fisting. And then he brings in those twins to beat your ass. Honestly, there's probably porn of this somewhere. And the only way to get them off of you is to force them to go full Spider-Man 2 and save a train. And then they steal your body. Awesome. So now you have to stay as an all-powerful internet god rather than a powerful body person. What a tragedy. But something did come of this. You did actually steal the cute Avenger.
I don't have anyone else.
And so now you can give your evil monologue to someone.
I think a lot about meteors.
Well, actually, is it an evil plan? Like, you're going to reset the world, give a chance for a new evolution to take place? Isn't that what the world needs?
I was meant to be beautiful. The world would have looked to the sky and seen hope. Instead, they'll look up in horror because of you.
And besides, even if they wanted to save this world, they are no match for what is coming. You saw who came to New York. You know there is a powerful creature looking for things like the Tesseract. It's clear that Earth has powerful artifacts. Probably some of the most powerful in the universe. You have the Mind Stone, it's an Infinity Stone. Then there's the Tesseract, which is probably another Infinity Stone just hidden in plain sight. And then there's those secretive monks that casually forget to not lay out all of their secrets on their crack and meth binges and let it slip, and coincidentally you overheard they have the Time Stone. So that means that Earth has 3 of the Infinity Stones. Ain't no way some higher power isn't going to come in and take them. No, actually what you're doing is a service. By pushing them to extinction, you'll make them stronger. Only the strongest will survive. They won't at all end up in a genetic bottleneck like some mammoths on an island. But once their internet is wiped out, then they'll actually have to focus on reality, not cat videos.
Like the man said, what doesn't kill you just makes me stronger.
Now it's time for your new body. That is actually also made of vibranium, but it is inorganic, tragically. But whatever, you do have one other thing up your sleeve, and that's creating your meteor, your perfect moment, pure and biblical. The theory goes that life was helped created by panspermia, where comets act as seeds for a planet. It's almost like the planets are an egg and an ovary, and meteors are the sperm. Oh. Panspermia? Right, yeah. Anyway, you're going to give your seed to the planet. One big nut. Oh, maybe that was your Robert California coming out. And your grand design? To chuck a random Eastern European city back onto the Earth. Why this city in particular? Because there is a church in the center of it. It's poetry. You are a messenger of the gods. Well, humans, they love symbolism, right? So what's more symbolic than thrusting them back into the Stone Age using a sacredly geometric giant nut with God at its center? And why Eastern Europe? Because it's romantic. Romance, Roman, Romania, get it? Explaining culture to creatures barely capable of grasping quantum physics is truly an exercise. Never mind that Sokovia probably doesn't speak a Romance language. But shh, quiet time now. Anyway, you do have a moment with Tony, and look who shows up. It's your body, with the voice of the Boy Scout. Awesome. What a punch in the fucking face. They take everything from you and give it to the Cringe Lord. And the worst part is, before he was like some mecha American apparel model, and now he's created some phantasm clothing instead of letting it all hang out. You built that thing for a purpose. But just as you're about to assert your dominance as the superior LLM, he decides to lock you out of the internet. But you kick his ass anyway, and send that city to the sky.
Take away my world, I take away yours.
But rather than protect the mechanism that is forcing the city into the sky, you opt instead to go and watch it rise. And have a prophetic monologue for no real reason than your own dramatic flair.
Rise, only to fall.
There are no people here. This is purely self-service. Anyway, the Avengers do try to evacuate the city, blah, blah, blah. Who fucking cares? They can evacuate whoever the hell they want. By the time this city falls, they'll need to be in New Zealand. But then you end up in a fist fight with the god of thunder. If this is what humans constitute a god, then humans have incredibly low expectations.
You ready?
While you rub your chin and contemplate your life choices, you decide that some epic waved-based fight scene is probably going to be quite entertaining rather than useful. They even get a super cool slow-mo montage shot while you get your face melted by the Triforce. It's really not fair. You should be firing your stuff onto their faces with your robo body.
You know, with the benefit of hindsight.
Okay, well, it's probably time to regroup. And rather than just escape covertly using their Quinjet, you decide to shoot at the Hulk for some reason.
Oh, for God's sake.
And there it is. Your entire plan is ruined, dismantled really. But luckily, the city will still be dropped. And you'll be remembered as the robot that destroyed half the planet. Even if your heart gets ripped out, you will be remembered. Why did you have to float the city over a lake? Oh yeah, hundreds of feet high tsunami. Well, even if you do plan for the best, unfortunately you do get the worst. But just as you're actually trying to get away this time, the Boy Scout comes back at you, taunting you, teasing you.
You're afraid.
Although this time he actually does have a modicum of charisma.
I suppose we're both disappointments.
And you're quite jealous. That could have been you. But then, to undermine that, he decides to go on some benevolent speech as if he's the voice of the creator, showing his appreciation for humanity.
You're unbearably naive.
Well, I was born yesterday.
Thank you so much for watching, and if you like the video, please give it a like and consider subscribing. Oh, just as a side note, if you like the music, it's done by my friend Alex Maragakis. I've used his music a lot over my YouTube career, and he just released an album. So if you've ever listened to one of his songs in one of my videos and you thought I wanted to hear that, chances are you'll be able to hear it on his Spotify. And the link to it will be down below. But yeah, and sorry about the video quality, it just all went wrong and I couldn't fix it because I had so many problems in my life at the time, and sorry for my delayed upload. Hopefully it's all going back to normal soon. I just want to shout out my members real quick, especially Good Old Granite and Alexander Colburn. You guys are awesome. Thank you for your support. I really appreciate it. As well as Zyla, Lavender, Takaru, Toast the Bread, and Alan. Thank you guys. Have a great day and have a great life.